Good morning, everyone. Today, our assignment is going to be based on something that our friend Joshua Crusado was wondering about. So I'm going to scroll down and just read what he wrote on his Padlet. So he said he wanted to learn all about different animals. We talked about some animals already, but I love that he also wanted to learn about earthquakes. So that's going to be our focus since we've been doing a lot with animals lately. I thought I'd switch things up a little bit. So I'm going to read to you a book that I found on Epic. And remember that if you just type in the subject, there are tons of books that will come up. There are fiction books, there are nonfiction, realistic fiction. And this one, this I Survived book, I know that a lot of you guys like those, is actually an audiobook. So even if it is a little bit more advanced for you, that's something that you can just play and listen to if you wanted. But we are going to read from this book. So this book is called Earthquake, and it's by Elizabeth Brown. And it starts with just kind of like some imagery about what would happen during an earthquake. So the subtitle is Shaken Up. 1 minute, everything is fine. Then the floor shakes. A picture falls off the wall. The walls make cracking sounds. Outside, a car horn honks. Did a car crash into the house? No, but it felt like that. What really happened? An earthquake shook the ground. And at the bottom, you can see this caption here, and it says, "A home is cracked and broken after an earthquake." And pay attention to the details because we're going to be doing something kind of different with some of the information that we learn. But this page kind of reminds me of what I'm looking for in the assignment for today. I'll start here. The earth beneath our feet seems solid, but it's not. The earth is made of huge plates of rock. These plates are always moving. Most of the time, they move very slowly. They slide past one another. Sometimes they rub together. Sometimes they crash. The crash is the start of an earthquake. And I'm just going to read the caption up here that says, "This diagram shows how Earth's surface is made of moving plates." And then the question asks, how big are the Earth's plates? They're as big as the continent. So they are massive, guys. One is as big as the Pacific Ocean. The place where the plates rub is called a fault. So you're going to need some of this vocabulary. So make sure you're paying attention to the bold words. The place where the plates rub is called a fault. It's a break in the earth. At the edges of a fault, the plates are stuck together. Below ground, the rest of the plates try to keep moving. They can't. Pressure builds up. It sends energy in all directions. The energy makes the earth tremble or shake. This caption says, "This land splits along this fault in Iceland." How bad is an earthquake? There are about 1 million earthquakes around the world every year. About half of them are small. Some happen far from towns or cities or under the ocean. No one notices them. The other half are big enough to feel. About 16,000 quakes a year cause major damage. Some are killers. An earthquake in China destroyed these buildings and everything around them. Scientists use a seismograph, there's another vocabulary word that you might need, to measure the strength of a quake. This machine makes zigzag lines on paper. The lines show when and where a quake struck. It shows how much energy the quake gave off. Short lines mean small quakes, while big wiggly lines mean big ones. This machine measures how much the ground is shaking. Big wiggly lines mean stronger shaking. I'm going to just leave you to those questions and answers on your own, just because this book is a little long and I don't want to take too much of your time. Charles F. Richter was a scientist who studied earthquakes. He looked at the wiggly lines on the seismograph. In 1934, he created the Richter scale. He started at 1.0. Small quakes measure 2.0 or 2.0 or less. We don't feel them. We feel quakes that are 4.5 or bigger. Quakes 8.0 or higher are called great quakes. Richter called these measures magnitudes. Scientist Charles F. Richter studied earthquakes. So don't forget those bold words because you might need them in your story that you're going to write a little later. After an earthquake, scientists use another measure. The Mercalli scale measures how strong a quake feels to people. It measures the damage to homes, buildings, and roads. The scale shows which areas need the most help. It teaches city planners which buildings are safest. The star marks a quake. Places closest to the star feel the quake the strongest. Really awful great quakes. On January 12, 2010, a magnitude 7.0 quake hit Haiti. Almost 300,000 houses fell apart. More than 220,000 people died. Another 300,000 were hurt. People had no water. They were hungry. Many got sick. There were 52 aftershocks. This made things even worse. Haiti is still rebuilding. And here it says soldiers hand out water to help people after an earthquake in Haiti. On March 11th, 2011, a magnitude 9.0 quake struck under the ocean near Japan. It lasted 6 minutes. This big quake at sea caused tsunami waves. The waves flooded the land. The government warned people, but the warnings could not save everyone. More than 18,000 people drowned. The huge waves destroyed villages. The waves carried lots of debris out to sea. Tsunami waves destroyed these houses in Japan in 2011. And I just also want to remind you that when you see that bold word, I didn't mean to go ahead of it. When you see that bold word, remember that you can jump to the glossary to figure out a little bit more about what that word means, but you can also use picture clues. The waves carried lots of debris out to the sea. In April 2015, a magnitude 7.8 quake struck Nepal. Nepal is a country in Asia. The quake destroyed towns. Houses fell. So did many ancient temples. People were buried under the debris. There's that word again. Debris here in the picture. Nearly 8,500 people died. Shops closed. Power failed, and there was no clean water. It will take years to recover. People will fill buckets with water after the quake in Nepal. Saving lives. This is where we're going to stop. One expert says earthquakes don't kill people. Poorly built things do. Safer buildings save lives. Stone homes fall apart in a quake. They're stiff. Wooden or bamboo houses are safer. They move with the earth. Homes made of straw bales may be safest of all. They sway with the earth. Straw homes are cheap to build. And this caption here says, workers in Haiti build homes that will be stronger in an earthquake. So I'm going to stop reading there, but this was a nonfiction book, but it also had, instead of just giving you just kind of straight facts about earthquakes, they gave you different scenarios of earthquakes in different areas and what the destruction was, what kinds of things happened, what it looked like, how people helped. So I want you to take all of that information, and then today, instead of just jotting down facts or, kind of comparing and contrasting some of the things that we've done this week, you're going to take that information and write a fiction story. So here are the directions. It says, listen closely to the read aloud called Earthquake. That's the one we just read. Write a fiction or a made-up story inspired by the book. Create characters, a setting, etc. Use facts from the book to help drive your story. Include dialogue, figurative language, and even vocabulary words. You can include pictures, but make sure they do not cover your words. So when I say that you can use facts from the book to help drive your story, you can use one of the places that they talked about in the book, but then you would add more of a narrative to it. Create, it could be a family or some type of characters that are experiencing that earthquake, what they might say, how they might feel, what they might do, and just use the information that you learned in the book to help you. I would like to also see, I'm going to say at least 3 vocabulary words so that I know that you took some of that information from the book as well and applied it to your writing. So I love seeing how creative you can be, especially with a writing assignment like this, where you can kind of build your story any way you want. And then maybe what we'll do is we can share them with each other. Okay. I can't wait to see your work today. I know that it's getting hard with how hot it is and how close it is to the end of the year, but please work hard. We only have a couple of days of work. Friday is our last, Mr. Braddock's calling it our last active learning day, and the next week we'll just do some fun things. So let's finish strong. All right, have a good day.